So this video is kind of more meta. It's not really a breaking idea or whatever. It's not a rumor. It's just kind of a thought. I guess a thought is an idea. Yeah, no. Scratch the earlier sentence. It is an idea here. So what we're going to do is go over onto the NHL Rumors Daily Twitter account once again. I'd been promoting the heck out of this guy because for some reason the guy who runs this account has insider sources who indeed do break news that actually does end up happening a little bit later most of the time. If you need the entire spiel, we've talked about it before in previous videos, but this guy is on top of stuff in the league despite not having a name, a face, nor a verification check mark off of Twitter. Either or, they posted a tweet the other day that I wanted to get a look at over here on the channel because I think it really does kind of depict the entire landscape, I guess, to Jack Eichel and the trade rumors and how some certain assets could be bigger pieces involved in this sphere than not. Take a look at this tweet that was posted yesterday by NHL Rumors Daily. I really believe that the Anaheim Ducks sticking to their gut on not moving Trevor Zegras changes a ton in the Jack Eichel sweepstakes. With their pool of picks and prospects, I would have a hard time seeing Eichel go anywhere else if Zegras was on the table. To this point, he is not. And I know, this is the point where people say, oh, how can you be so sure that Trevor Zegras is not on the trade block, man? This is just some random guy on Twitter. Again, check the guy's account. He's broken a lot of news and he's in contact with people who have to be working for NHL teams because he's got such a positive track record for breaking news and stories. But for Trevor Zegras, he's probably the guy that I think is the most interesting when it comes to Jack Eichel and the trade talks, because when it comes to the teams that we have seen been in and out for Jack Eichel, Buffalo Sabres captain, 2015 second overall pick, a point-per-game guy in his sleep when he is healthy, but who is in a bad situation in Buffalo. He doesn't want to be there, and he's got a surgery that he wants to do that the team doesn't want him to do. With all of this stuff going on with the Eichel sweepstakes, when it comes to the teams that are involved, it's always the same kind of conversations we're having. Okay, Minnesota is the brand new team involved here, so that's kind of a new one. But for teams like LA, Anaheim, New York, it's all kind of the same names being tossed around here. For the Kings, you have Byfield and Turcotte and Velarde. For the Rangers, you have Lafreniere and Kakko. But for the Ducks, things get really, really interesting. Because when it comes to the Anaheim Ducks, they've been a team that was really publicly available in the Eichel trade talks. And we had the insiders coming out there giving us little scoops saying, yeah, Anaheim is one of the teams that have been involved. But the biggest assets that they would have to go out there and maybe potentially make a trade for Eichel include Trevor Zegras, Jamie Drysdale, third overall pick maybe. You got some other guys in there too. Comtois a guy there, Sam Steele. A lot of assets. But when it comes to the public perception of this property over here, it's not really in the same tier that a lot of people would automatically assume with a Byfield or a Lafreniere or a Kakko, where the Rangers or the Kings would be like, okay, we're not going to trade these, right? We're not going to trade Byfield, come on. What I'm trying to say here is that I don't think NHL fans see Zegras and Drysdale in the same way that they see Lafreniere and Byfield and all those guys. And that's fair. Definitely fair. You're taking a look at second overall, first overall picks in Lafreniere and Byfield and all that, comparing it with Zegras, for example, who was taken 9th overall, and Drysdale, who was taken in that same range too. They're not technically the same, but that doesn't mean the Anaheim Ducks are going to view them any differently. You hear the same conversations going around about LA. Oh, if you can make a trade for Eichel without Byfield, you're winning. Oh, if you make a Rangers trade for Eichel without Lafreniere or Kakko, then you win. Oh, if you make a trade with Anaheim without Drysdale or Zegras, you win. Why? Not because Zegras is a second overall monster behemoth like Byfield is or Kakko, but because this guy has an extraordinarily high ceiling, and you know just how big the Anaheim Ducks are on him and Drysdale. Zegras is a guy who, I've said this before in previous videos, if you tell me sometime down the line that there would be a year where both Zegras and Eichel play over 70 games, maybe a full season, and Zegras outscores Eichel, you know what, I wouldn't be surprised. because Zegras is just that offensive dynamo creative wizard that he is that probably shouldn't have been available at 9th overall during the 2019 NHL entry draft. And the same could be said about a lot of guys from that NTDP team taken in that draft. Oh, Cole Caulfield was taken 15th. That's the big one that everybody loves to talk about. But man, Zegras could be the biggest change on the market right here, depending on whether or not the Ducks would be willing to say yes. Because as NHL Rumors Daily says in the tweet, he would have a difficult time seeing Eichel go anywhere else except Anaheim if Zegras was indeed on the trade block, to which at this point he is not. If Zegras was on the market, because he's only a 9th overall pick, he's not a Byfield, he's not a Lafreniere, he's not a Kakko, he's just a 9th overall guy. If he's on the trade block, boom, Eichel's going to Anaheim for sure. Zegras, make a new home in Buffalo because you're going to make a new home over there. It's a similar conversation you can have about Byfield and Kakko and Lafreniere, but it's easy to make those conversations happen because those are top picks. Zegras is not that. Furthermore, Jamie Drysdale, taken, 6th overall in the 2020 draft? Honestly, you could have a little bit of a difficult time trying to convince me that this is kind of the same kind of caliber guy, but you know what? If the Anaheim Ducks value him so, then be my guest, I guess. You saw how good Drysdale was in the AHL immediately stepping into that league. He was under a point per game for crying out loud, and he was 18 for the majority of the year. Not to mention the fact that he was at a point every 3 games in the NHL this season. Again, as an 18, 19-year-old guy, the Ducks love this guy. And it's honestly kind of interesting how, when it comes to the numerical value of a lot of these assets, Drysdale is 6th overall, Zegras is 9th overall. This year they have the 3rd overall pick. It seems like the 3rd overall pick would probably be the asset they would be more willing to trade if it's for Jack Eichel coming back. Now, we don't really have too many concrete evidence as to whether or not Drysdale would be on the market or not. It's just kind of a conversation we're having here for the sake of talking about it. But the Anaheim Ducks are in that weird spot where their assets, you could say, maybe they're overvaluing their assets. Maybe your opinion is a little bit different from mine, where I say, okay, Zegras is so gosh darn good, he might be able to outproduce Eichel in a season. Maybe your perspective is, wow, if it's Zegras for Eichel, I'm taking Eichel 110% of the time, man. You're nuts to even think Zegras has a chance of being that good. But I guess we just gotta wait and see now, don't we? Because Trevor Zegras still does have some time to go before he eventually becomes a full-time NHL player. And I'm gonna say full-time because this season he was just kind of up and down, and he wasn't really considered a full-time guy despite the fact that he did play 24 games and he had 13 points. He's got himself a boatload of opportunity to go out there next season and only play for the Ducks. He dominated the World Juniors, he dominated the AHL, he did all this stuff in 2020-2021. So for 2021-22, he's going to have a full-time opportunity in the National Hockey League to show off why he was a steal at number 9. And it's kind of why the Ducks are going out there and thinking about it like, yeah, we really, really like Zegras. And sure, Eichel is good, but Zegras, man, he's great. Not to mention, of course, the other side to the Eichel argument where the trade price is apparently decreasing. We'll make a video about that tomorrow, by the way, so go ahead and check out the channel for that scoop. Plus the uncertainties with the surgery and the fact that he doesn't want to be in Buffalo anymore. It's all just a mixed bag of stuff, of leverage for other teams to go out there and say, yeah, well, we're not going to give you Zegras. I mean, your guy wants out. Your guy doesn't want to be there anymore, and you want to trade him. Why would we give you our best asset here in Trevor Zegras? You can have the 3rd overall pick instead, because I'd rather have a Jack Eichel on my team instead of, I don't know, a William Eklund or a Matty Beniers or whatever, because I think if Eichel was eligible for 2021, he would probably go first. And you could say that about a lot of other guys from the previous few drafts. Like, I think Byfield and Stützle could have gone first in this year's draft as well. Now, I know I completely opened an entirely new bag of worms, but hey, it's just kind of letting the brain flow. This is just kind of what I'm thinking about, Zegras and Eichel, and the idea that Zegras would be a little bit more tradable in an Eichel trade than a Lafreniere or a Byfield or a Kakko or whatever. Yeah, I don't know, man. I kind of disagree. Let me know in the comments what you think about this entire idea over here, how Trevor Zegras impacts the Jack Eichel trade market. My apologies for making such a weird video on such a strange topic. I can't believe we actually got to 9.5 minutes on this one, but you know what? I just kind of had a lot to say about this, so I kind of feel like I wanted to get it out there. So talk to me in the comments what you think. Hope you enjoyed this video. 9 and bye.